Greetings and welcome, everybody. My name is Chuck Palm. Welcome to the Cigar Talk Show. I am very honored today to be joined by a guest that I'm going to introduce in a moment, but I wanted to kind of set this up. Why a cigar talk show? Simply put, cigars are supposed to be about relaxing, enjoying time with friends, and enjoying la buena vida, the good life. If you're living the good life and you're taking your time to enjoy something nice and you enjoy a good smoke, then this is the show for you. Now, what was the impetus for doing this? Simply put, enjoying cigars with friends. Many of you know I've been podcasting longer than half of you have been alive. Some of the shows I have done, you might remember, have been since the early 2000s, and they've been on a wide variety of topics. I still do a radio show every morning. I still do a tech podcast. But this one, this is just for me. We're doing the Cigar Talk Show on a bi-monthly basis or so, and we are not being sponsored by cigar companies. We pick whatever cigars we happen to like, and we can talk about them. We can say nice things, we can say not so nice things. But honestly, I've not had too many bad cigars. And generally that's because cigars are about who you share them with. In this case, I'd like to introduce my guest, Heather Callahan.
Hello.
Heather, I've known you, about 10 years,
Yeah,
right?
Probably about 10 years.
Wow. We started a cigar club for just a casual, get-together on a Wednesday. We did it the first Wednesday of every month about 10 years ago. I was invited to the Fox Club, and no relation, but Angie Fox, who hosts that club, had started it with the idea that we're just going to share cigars with friends and maybe have a drink or two the first Wednesday of every month, and it's called Ash Wednesday. Still one of my favorite names for a club.
The irony.
Right, the irony. More about irony in a minute, yeah. The idea of Ash Wednesday is just that. It is all about relaxing with good friends and having a nice time. It is not something to put in the face of somebody or offend. In fact, I'm a firm believer that if you're in a crowd and you're smoking a cigar in maybe not a cigar-friendly place, you should pay attention to the environment around you, and if people are offended by the smoke, it happens. Simply save that for another time. There's no need to be confrontational when it's about cigars and enjoying cigars. Heather actually has some experience with cigars, and kind of the reason I wanted to bring her on here today. I'd like this episode to be more about why people feel the way they feel about cigars, who do they appeal to, and this myth that cigars are for an exclusive group. I think it's really now more than ever that all walks of life really can enjoy a good cigar and sit down and have just a moment with a friend. Heather, tell me a little bit about your background.
Well, frankly, I thought you were going to start with, and Heather has a lot of experience offending people.
I've never found that to be true. No, that's good. Heather is not offensive at all. She's a lovely lady, and I really enjoy my time with her. But I realized today for the first time you're a veteran also.
I am.
And your husband's a veteran.
Yes, he is.
And you're involved in veterans causes.
Yes, we are.
So I've actually
Yes.
started. Yes. I'm on a roll. Let's cut it right
well
here.
Done. Cut.
The idea that a veterans cause for me came about just about pre-COVID. I started working with the Veterans Art Center. And so I formed a group to help veterans find art therapy as a release for PTSD, traumatic brain injury. It's 60% more effective than drugs. And that I'm going to talk about at another time, but that cause for me is so important. I've had family who was in the Gulf War who suffered PTSD, and there's nothing more sad than seeing someone you love your whole life has changed because of what they were asked to do for our country. So I just wanted to say thank you for your efforts in that regard, and thank you and your husband both for your service.
Thank you. Thank you for the shout out.
You bet.
And thank you all for your service.
Yes, absolutely. So back to your history with cigars. Sure. I understand you actually have some experience in the industry, shall we say.
I do, but like you, my very first cigar ever in my entire life was at the Ash Wednesday Cigar
How
Club.
about that? Wow.
I was invited by Angie when I was new to Florida, and I was looking to meet some friends, and she invited me to Ash Wednesday. And I told her, I said, well, I'm not really a cigar smoker. And she said, that's okay. You can come just to meet other people.
Sure.
You're new here. Why not, come and
enjoy the good life.
Enjoy the good life.
Right.
And my first cigar was actually in Gulfport. We had an Ash Wednesday in Gulfport.
Yep.
And that's where I met Polly Pruitt.
Paul Pruitt. Shout out to Paul.
Yeah,
Yep.
Paul.
Thank you, Paul.
Shout out to Paul. My very first cigar was an Oliva sold by Alan Welbus. And I have a picture of it on my Facebook. Yes, I do.
Do you think that it's on Facebook? You can share that with me?
Yeah, I'll share it with you.
I'll make sure we put that in the show so everybody can see that.
My very first cigar was purchased by...
You have a commemorative moment there.
I really do, and I never thought it would lead anywhere because for me it was just like, hey, look at me meeting new friends in Florida. I mean, it was just kind of a social post on Facebook. I had, a super positive experience with Ash Wednesday, and through that, on, that one Wednesday a month, I would meet, cigar vendors as well, and they always looked like they were having so much fun. Of course, that's what everybody thinks when they're like, oh, the, cigar vendors are the best on the planet. They have the best job ever. And so, I was like, I want one of those jobs. I asked one of the vendors, how do I get a job like this? And he actually knew of a couple cigar manufacturers who were hiring.
Wow. Can you say who they were?
I can.
Big secret.
I know.
Yeah.
This one is actually not in business anymore, but it was a small boutique brand called King Cigars.
Oh, wow.
And that was my my first venture in. It was basically as a broker. Got my feet in the door a little bit, and then probably about 3-4 months later, I had the IPCPR, and that
yes, there you go.
Yep, that was in.
What was that acronym for everybody else? I forgot. It's this long,
it
but
has changed so many times.
I'll look it up. We'll put a note under there too. Don't worry about it.
PCA,
right? Yeah.
So with King Cigars, my first IPCPR, International Tobacco, blah 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 blah. I wasn't. Who's got my cue cards?
Where's the cue card up?
I was basically found by some other manufacturers, and then ended up being the national cigar rep for Gran Habano.
Wow!
I know.
Look at you!
Right?
Awesome.
So 3 months into it, 4 months, 4 months into it, I was a national, traveling nationally,
agent, right?
Yes,
yeah. Wow.
for Gran Habano, and then about 8 months after that, I was the Florida manager for Drew Estate Cigars, which is also an international
they
brand.
are.
Yeah.
A good brand, one of my favorites too. Yep.
So that's, the long and short of it, and it was, and it was a lot of fun. It was very hard work. It was a lot of travel.
Yeah, it is.
A lot of interaction with a lot of people.
But let's face it, the hard work part of that, where you're traveling and socializing and having drinks with people and cigars, come on. That's a dream job.
I mean, not for nothing, but my tagline was, I get to drink and smoke for a living. What do you do? What do you do? What do you do, sir? What do you do, ma'am? I drink and smoke for a living.
Fantastic. I love it. That's great.
So
you met a lot of people along the way and had an opportunity to socialize with them. Tell me what your perception is of the industry and how it's changed over the last 8 to 10 years.
Oh, geez. It has changed a lot.
Dramatically, yes. Now, I've been smoking a little over 25 years.
Yeah, it really feels like it expands and contracts. I mean, I guess every industry
goes through that.
Is cyclical.
Sure.
And I just kind of think that we're on another cycle of contracting, because a lot of manufacturers are being purchased by bigger manufacturers, and they're going more international. But along the other side of that, there's a low barrier to entry. So if somebody wants to give a go in the cigar industry, it is, very welcoming to new boutique brands and blends. And
so true. And I remember the first year Rocky Patel came out, and now they're one of the top dogs in the industry. That's been a good run for them too. They skyrocketed in comparison to some of the families who've been around forever.
Right.
Tell me about the people, however. That's really, I think, the most intriguing thing for me over the last 10 years, half the time I've been smoking. I've seen this growth of the popularity of cigars, and then that has also kind of contracted a little bit, but at the same time, the middle of that audience has kind of expanded. If you think that's accurate.
Right. I do believe that's pretty accurate. There's always that mainstay.
Mm-hmm.
There's always that core that will always smoke cigars. It will always ebb and flow with the brands. They will always try something new. And then there are those that will never smoke anything, but they're die-hard blend no matter what, and they smoke what they
Label
smoke,
loyalists.
and they drink what they drink, and
That's
there's
so
no
true.
change in my mind. And
well, we've already done the cutting ceremony. We've already done a cutting ceremony,
mm-hmm.
but I would like to go ahead and light up and say let's enjoy
do
the
it.
lighting ceremony.
I've been waiting.
Oh, you have your own lighter?
I brought
Very good.
my own lighter.
I have got
Yes.
a Perdomo today, a nice Maduro in a box press. Oh. A little inside baseball. I've been waiting for this for a while since we were doing some setup work, and man,
I know it. I'm
that's
ready.
so much better than what I was really hoping for today.
Nothing like delayed gratification.
That's such a great way of putting it. It's so true. I think that's the point of that I was trying to make earlier about who enjoys cigars and why. It should not be rushed. I think the biggest failing for most cigar aficionados, they start a cigar, especially a larger one or a larger ring gauge, they warm it up the way they're supposed to toast the foot. You've seen the lighting ceremony hopefully on my earlier shorts. And this is not something that you should eat like a fine meal. Just eat fast and get all the flavor that you can. It's definitely meant to be savored and to take a while and enjoy. In fact, 1.5 to 2 minutes between puffs is really the best way to not make the cigar acid or a little too
hot. Or, yes.
Right. It doesn't burn as well
Or,
when
yes,
it's super hot. It
uneven
gets mushy.
burning, yes.
Yes, such an important factor is why we take our time to enjoy a cigar.
Plus, cigars are recipes. So if
Interesting
you
point.
are having a cigar that is a particular recipe, it may start with one flavor, transition to another flavor, and end with a different flavor.
And it's all about how it's wrapped, what types of tobaccos are in the filler, and they are often blended with multiple different leaves from different countries even. And the wrapper itself can be very, some people say as much as 80% of the flavor of a cigar.
And you definitely find that with the Lancero because it's mostly wrapper.
There you go. It's all wrapper stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I love the variety. I think that's the other thing about a good cigar. Even your favorite brand that you smoke all the time can have some minor differences from smoke to smoke because they're handmade. At least the good ones are. Now, I actually do smoke a Quorum on occasion because it's a great afternoon smoke. It's not very powerful, but it's machine made. Mm-hmm. And also here in Tampa. J.C. Newman picked that up, I think. I believe that was they acquired the Quorum brand, and now they're mass produced in Tampa as well by machine, but a damn fine smoke. You cannot beat a handmade.
It's a fine smoke. It's economical.
Right? A couple of bucks, usually at your favorite liquor store. Mm-hmm. And I've enjoyed many on occasion just passing through. But when you're putting a little more money and effort into a cigar, you want to savor that. And rushing it does spoil it. I can't emphasize that enough.
Agree.
What's your favorite?
Oh my
Blend, brand,
goodness.
wrapper. Pick something and tell me what you usually go for in the box.
Listen.
Put her on the spot,
What's your
right?
favorite wine?
Oh.
What is your favorite whiskey? What is your favorite bourbon?
The one I'm enjoying right now.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Now, my favorite wrapper I tend to lean towards is the San Andres wrapper. It's a
Really?
Mexican wrapper.
How would you describe that?
Oh,
Everybody's got their own way
I
of,
know.
yeah, it's
I
kind of
don't know,
funny.
It's just kind of this gentle sweetness, but when it is blended with, other, regions of tobacco, it just has such a
subtle
to me,
complexity.
Just a beautiful, beautiful 45-minute and very enjoyable vacation.
Awesome. Very nice.
Yeah. So if I am being, like here, smoke this, if I'm really, really drawn to it on my palate, I usually find out that it's a San Andres wrapper.
Awesome. No big secret, I prefer a darker cigar, usually a Maduro. And for a similar reason, most of the Maduros, believe it or not, the darker wrappers are sweeter. They tend to have a little more chocolatey flavor or a little milder flavor on the palate. And I honestly will not smoke a good cigar without something to drink. And believe it or not, usually it's a cup of coffee.
You know what? It's good. You know what else is really good with a Maduro? Chocolate
shake.
Yes.
How perfect. If you're a fine wine connoisseur and you understand the flavors and the complexities, most of the sommeliers will tell you should have aromas to go with that wine and smell that before you have the wine. You can actually tell the difference. I sense a lot of chocolate flavors and coffees that enhance that note. So palates are unique. I don't always get the things that people say that they have on the palate.
Lobster thermidor? You
don't
what? Get that?
What is that? Who puts that in a cigar anyway? It's good. I like that. I've always enjoyed the
Manny.
Difference between right. That's a good one. The difference in flavors and techniques and rolling and wrappers mean everything, and we'll get into those in later episodes. I really don't want to go too long on this today because we've had...
He's not enjoying my company.
I love her company. I'd spend more than an hour with her just chatting like we did before the show. That being said, podcasts are meant to be in a format, so we're going to stick to the 30-minute window on occasion, and we'll talk more about different cigar bars in the Tampa Bay area that we'll be broadcasting from. We'll have different cigars that we're going to be enjoying from place to place, and we will enjoy a conversation or two with some of the cigar families or the companies that are based here in Tampa and give them an opportunity to tell us about their favorite smokes. But I'd also like to encourage you to sign up for the Ash Wednesday Cigar Club online on Facebook, simply because there's thousands of members now. Obviously, they don't all show up on the first Wednesday of each month, but this one has been delayed because of the 4th of July holiday. We're actually going to be in Lakeland next Wednesday night.
Nice.
And I'm looking forward to that one. Do you remember the name of the cigar shop?
Is it at Cigar Life?
That's the one, Cigar Life in Lakeland.
Patty and Mario Medina.
Bingo. And I will have their information on our show as well. So hopefully will be posted just before that event next Wednesday. The 4th, says 4th and 12th?
12th.
The 12th, yes. You'd think somebody would have had cue cards prompted,
I know.
made out,
where
and
is, what
here
do
we
they
are
call
again.
that
I'm just
person?
winging
Yeah.
it. It's what I'm going to do.
Where's our cue card person?
Heather, I can't thank you enough for coming.
Oh,
it has
thank
been
you.
a pleasure, and you've been very patient and kind, and I really wanted to just say thanks for spending the time with us.
Nothing brings people together like a cigar does.
And it surely does, and I'm really looking forward. We'll have you back again and talk some more about just... I got to ask you, though, you've since switched careers.
I have.
You're doing something unique now, and I wanted to give you a chance to tell me about that on the website.
Thank you. Well, before I got into cigars, I was in banking and investments, and so now that I am out of cigars, if you will, I am actually back into the mortgage industry.
Interesting.
So right here, I'm serving Florida, serving the veterans.
Wonderful.
Making sure we're taking advantage of hometown heroes. So, yep, it's Heather at flexfunding.com.
Flexfunding.com. We're going to put that on the link in the show notes as well. And shout out to them for serving our veteran community. Really appreciate that.
Thank you. Really enjoy it.
Awesome.
Very rewarding. Thank you, Chuck.
Thank you, Heather. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching our very first episode of the Cigar Talk Show. And we're going to leave it at that. Look for some information about how to reach us at the end of the show. And again, hopefully we'll see you before the end of July. But whenever you're watching this, please be sure, leave a comment, share it with a friend. Subscribe on YouTube if you're on YouTube, and let other people know about La Buena Vida. Thank you. Have a great day.